Well, hello everyone. This is Growing with Dave. This is a follow-up video to our popular growing pasta. Hey, I know these are some tough times. We're all sequestered at home, keeping our social distance and stuff. And I know that sometimes you'll be in a house and you'll run out of soap. Now, normally you just run to the grocery store and buy your bar of soap. But if you want to stay home and do this, this is an activity you can do at home, much like our ancestors did. Our ancestors never ran to the store and bought bar soap. They went out and harvested free-range soap. So I'm going to show you how to harvest free-range soap in the woods. It's very simple. All you need is a good pair of shoes, a little basket or something to pick the soap in. And then the ideal time of the year, of course, is in April to do your harvesting. So I'm out with cameraman Pat, and we're out in the woods. And I've done a little pre-scouting, so I've got an idea where it would be a good place to find some soap bars that are growing. So follow me. And what we're looking for are down trees, down branches. So you come along here. Oh, here's an ideal. And you can see the soap is already growing. Now, how do you pick these? Very simple. You simply grab a hold, do a little twist, and you've got a complete bar of soap. Usually where there's one, there's more. Well, here we are. You can see here's a second one. Again, they come in different shapes and sizes. This happens to be a round one. This happens to be a rectangle one. I'm going to grab it, quick, and here you've got your second bar of soap. And, oh, cameraman May, come around here. Folks, we are in luck. We have just found the gold standard of soaps. I'm going to pick this. Oh, look at this. Look at this. This is an Irish Spring soap. How do I know it's an Irish Spring soap? Well, 3 different ways you can tell. First, the color. Look at this color. This translucent green. Almost like a jade, from the Ming Dynasty that's been carved. It's beautiful. And when the sunlight is hitting it just correctly, it just catches the light. Secondly, the size. You can see this bar of soap is much bigger than your standard bars that we found out here. The third way is the smell. Oh, it smells like spring. That's where it gets part of its name. A couple of interesting facts about Irish Spring, and you may not realize this. Irish Spring is not native to Minnesota, nor not even native to this country. It's believed, it was first sighted on the eastern seaboard around in the 1870s, and I believe it came with the great Irish migration to this country in the 1860s. Irish Spring, of course, is native to Ireland, thus that's where it gets the first part of its name, Irish Spring. But and it's just spread east. But it's just beautiful. But it's also a non-native species, not an invasive species, and there's a distinct difference. A non-native species does not disrupt or replace local soaps, much like pheasants are considered a non-native species. They're not causing environmental damage. They're not replacing other species. Now, buckthorn is an example of an invasive species where that does cause harm to the environment. It replaces other plants and stuff. So that's the other beauty of this. It's a non-native species, and it's just a beautiful thing to find in the woods. Now, cameraman Pat, I understand we had a few questions.
We do, Dave. We've got one from Northfield, Minnesota, Joanne May. And she's asking, is it legal to harvest free-range soap in state parks?
That's a great question. And the answer to that is yes. Much like mushrooms, you can harvest mushrooms in Minnesota State Park. You can also harvest free-range soap. As long as you're not doing it commercially. Commercially, no, you can't. But as a family activity and going out and getting what you need, and don't be a glutton. Only take what you need out there.
Okay, I do have one more question if we have time, Dave.
Sure.
This comes from Tara Burnt, who also happens to be from Northfield, Minnesota. She's wondering, how does soap spread its seeds throughout the woods every year?
That too is a great question. Soap matures usually around in April. And when it's mature, that's when it can spread. It's actually a spore, not a seed. You come out into the woods after an April rain, especially in the morning when there's very little wind blowing around. The woods will be full of bubbles. It will be just like I don't know, it's almost a spiritual experience. I don't mean to get a little choked up about that, but I've sat out here and I have watched these bubbles just float through. And the hope is of these spores is that they will land on a dead log or something like that and take hold, and thus creating the next generation of soap bars. Hey, again, these are some interesting times. I know we're looking for some family activities, we're all looking for some ways to save some money and to keep the social distancing. But this is just another example of something that you can do for yourself and for your family. And again, things are tough, but things are getting better. So until next time, and I'm hoping next time we'll be able to report on how we're doing on our soda cracker crop. So this has been Growing with Dave.